bipartisan basis how to renew and extend the CHIP program. It's a bipartisan program.
Does the president understand it?
Yeah, he does understand CHIP.
Broadly beyond CHIP, though, the Senate Majority Leader said yesterday that he has concerns that the president hasn't indicated yet what he's willing to support on a deal for Dreamers.
Well, look,
are you confident that you're clear on what the president would and would not support?
Yeah, the president wants a balanced deal. He wants maneuverability. He said this at the White House event that you guys were all invited into, that you guys talked about, which is he wants to have security. He wants to have a balanced deal. The purpose of getting DACA right is so that we fix DACA once and for all, and we don't create a new DACA problem that we have to address 5 and 10 years down the road. And so the president is clearly giving legislators room to negotiate, but he wants a balanced deal. The president's made it clear that the deal that he was presented with by Graham and Durbin is not a balanced deal, and he doesn't support that. What I've been making clear is we're not going to bring a bill through here that the president's not going to support. What would be the point of passing something that doesn't go into law? We want to pass something that goes into law. And what that means we'll do is pass a balanced deal. But again, what does this have to do with our military? What does this have to do with preventing the Children's Health Insurance Program from shutting down in all these states in a few days? What does this have to do with making sure that the men and women who are out there right now putting their lives on the line need what we can give them? What does this have to do with our funding for our troops? It has nothing to do with funding for our troops, and we should not use them as bargaining chips.
Mr. Speaker,
Then I'll go back.
Sorry.
So I'm picking on front row people too much. I gotta go back to the cheap seats.
Wisconsin and the Big Ten.
Oh wait. Dude. Next question.
Just to follow up on Darren's point, though, because of what Leader McConnell said yesterday about not necessarily knowing where the president is, last week you sort of had to serve as translator and chief to a FISA tweet again this morning. These are tough votes for you, tough votes for your conference. Is it helpful? Do you feel like the president is helpful to this process of actually getting 216 or 218?
He is. He's going to the Pentagon today to make the point about why our military is under duress, why our military needs funding. He's obviously supporting getting this done. And the president likes to do things in an unconventional way. He does it with his phone, but it actually does help us with our members. Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, Lisa from the PBS NewsHour. Politico is reporting that Mr. McConnell is making contingency plans for a possible shutdown. Are you making those plans, and are you open to a 1, 2, or 3 day CR?
Look, I'm not going to sit here and negotiate through the media, but that's up to the Senate Democrats. If the Senate Democrats want to shut the government down, if the Senate Democrats want to deny funding for our troops, if the Senate Democrats want to stop CHIP funding for unrelated issues, that's a choice they would make. I don't think it's a good choice for them to make, but that would be their decision to make. Dude in the back. Who are you? Remember? Yeah.
Hi, I'm Nash Jenkins from Time Magazine.
Okay, sorry.
This will be the fourth time in as many months that you guys have had to pass a CR. Why is that? Why?
You want me to read my opening again?
Yeah.
It's a totally legitimate question. I'm not trying to belittle your question. Why are we doing this continuing resolutions? Because Senate Democrats are not allowing appropriation bills to even be brought up for a vote, because they're attaching unrelated issues to cap negotiations. So shouldn't we have regular order on appropriations? Congress agrees on the spending level, and then Congress funds appropriations to those levels. That is how appropriations are supposed to work. The House passed all 12 appropriation bills ahead of schedule this year. The Senate hasn't brought up one appropriation bill, and that's not Mitch McConnell's fault. That is the fault of the fact that it takes 60 votes, and the Senate Democrats are refusing to even exercise the power of the purse, and now they're refusing to get a cap agreement so that we can get the power of the purse exercised, so we can fund the military, fund things like basic health care, fund things like opioids. They're refusing to even do that over these unrelated issues. That's why we are where we are. Andy.
You are aware that Senator McConnell has not attempted to bring up an appropriations bill, and that the Senate Appropriations Committee has not drafted.
I am aware of it, and it's because they know they don't have 60 votes to proceed on this thing. I wish they didn't have to get 60 votes to proceed, but it's because of that.
Would you like to see the Senate maybe make more of an effort to demonstrate the points you're making by moving to go to legislation?
Of course I would.
Test votes?
I'm a House guy. I always want to see the Senate do more on the legislative calendar. They're pretty busy on their what they call the executive calendar, trying to get personnel through. I sympathize with their problems, but yes, I would love to see people at least have to vote on these things.
Mr. Speaker, what's your case to national security lawmakers who worry that every day under a CR damages the military?
The CR is not good for the military, but what's worse for the military is a government shutdown. What's even worse for the military is a government shutdown followed by a sequester, which is what would happen if we don't pass a CR. We also have passed what we call anomalies. We passed things in these CRs that give the military the flexibility they need during the time of the CR to do what they need to do, but it is clearly less than ideal. I just gave a speech this morning at CSS about this. But what we know for a fact, you can ask Secretary Mattis the same question, is that not passing a CR is much worse and much more damaging for the military, especially when it's followed up with a sequester.
Mr. Speaker, we've been talking a lot about Senate Democrats today, but I want to be clear on the House and where you're getting the votes for the CR in the House. Is it coming from Defense Hawks and the Freedom Caucus members who have been reluctant to support it, or are you expecting Democrats to help?
I feel we're making really good progress with our members. We're having great conversations, and I feel our members are understanding the gravity of the situation. And I think our members do not want to reward using the military as a hostage in this moment.
And that's Republican members, to be clear?
All right, Paul Ryan talking about the